Dr. Lisa Morgan stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around the massive docking bay of New Geneva Station. She had never seen anything like it. The walls stretched up so high she could barely see the ceiling. Ships from dozens of different worlds sat in neat rows, each one stranger than the last. Some looked like metal fish, others like giant crystals that somehow flew through space. Lisa carried a single bag with all her belongings. At 28, she was young for a scientist, but she had worked harder than anyone else to get here. Earth had only been part of the galactic community for 5 years, and humans were still new to everyone else. A tall, blue-skinned alien walked toward her. His head was larger than a human head, and Lisa could see strange patterns moving under his skin. She knew this was Commander Vexther, one of the Zenthari who ran the research station. "You must be the human," Vexther said. His voice sounded like it came from inside her head rather than her ears. "I am Commander Vexther. Welcome to the Galactic Research Institute." Lisa nodded and tried to smile. "Thank you, sir. I'm Dr. Lisa Morgan. I'm excited to work here." Vexther looked her up and down. Lisa could tell he was not impressed. "Yes, well, we shall see what humans can contribute to real science. Follow me." As they walked through the station, Lisa saw aliens she had only read about in books. The insect-like Krelven clicked and buzzed as they worked on complicated machines. The crystal people called Ethmar made beautiful singing sounds when they talked to each other. Everyone seemed to know exactly what they were doing. "This is the main research center," Vexther explained as they entered a huge room filled with computers and screens showing star maps. "We study the galaxy here. We look for new worlds, track space weather, and solve the big questions about how the universe works." Lisa watched scientists working at stations, covered in buttons and displays she did not understand. Everything looked incredibly advanced compared to Earth's technology. "Where will I be working?" Lisa asked. Vexther pointed to a small desk in the corner of the room. "You will start with basic tasks. Organizing star charts, checking data, simple things. We need to see what humans are capable before giving you important work." Lisa felt a little disappointed, but tried not to show it. "I understand. I'll do my best." "I'm sure you will," Vexther said, though his tone suggested he did not expect much. After Vexther left, Lisa sat at her new desk and looked at the pile of data. Files waiting for her. A human man in a blue uniform walked over and sat down next to her. "Don't let him get to you," the man said quietly. "I'm Captain Jake Sullivan, Human Liaison Officer. Been here for 2 years now." "Nice to meet you," Lisa said. "I'm Lisa Morgan." "Is it always like this?" Jake nodded. "The Zenthari think they're the smartest beings in the galaxy. They've been running things here for 300 years. To them, we're like smart children who just learned to count." "But we got invited here," Lisa pointed out. "That must mean something." "Sure, but they invited us because Earth showed promise, not because they think we're equals. The Zenthari can read minds, you know. They think that makes them superior to everyone else." Lisa looked around the room. She noticed that the human section was separate from everyone else. The aliens worked together in groups, but humans seemed to work alone. "What exactly do they want me to do?" Lisa asked. Jake handed her a tablet. "See these star charts? You need to organize them by date and location. Then check the data for any obvious errors. It's busy work, but it's a start." Lisa spent the rest of the day learning how to use the alien computers. The interface was strange, but she picked it up quickly. The star charts showed thousands of solar systems, each with detailed information about planets, moons, and space conditions. As she worked, Lisa began to notice things. Small patterns in the data that did not seem right. Tiny inconsistencies that probably meant nothing, but they caught her attention. She made notes in a separate file, planning to look at them more carefully later, Dr. Kethmer, one of the crystal aliens, floated over to her desk near the end of the day. When Kethmer spoke, it sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "You work very carefully," Kethmer said. "Most new researchers rush through their first assignments." "Thank you," Lisa replied. "I want to make sure I understand everything correctly. Understanding is good. The Xanthari value quick results, but sometimes slow and careful work finds things that speed misses." After Kethmer left, Lisa stayed late to finish organizing the charts. The station was quieter now, with fewer people around. She spread out the star charts on her desk and looked at them as a whole instead of individual pieces. Something was definitely wrong with some of the data. There were gravitational readings that did not match what the chart said should be there. Tiny differences, but they formed a pattern across multiple star systems. Lisa made careful notes about what she found. She wanted to be absolutely sure before she said anything to Commander Vexther. Humans were already seen as inferior here. If she brought up concerns that turned out to be nothing, it would only make things worse. The next morning, Lisa arrived early and continued her work. She had organized half the star charts in one day, which was supposed to take a week. Jake stopped by her desk with coffee. "You're making the rest of us look bad," he joked. "How did you finish so much so fast?" "I like puzzles," Lisa said, "and I think I found something interesting in the data." Jake raised his eyebrows. "What kind of something?" Lisa showed him her notes about the gravitational inconsistencies. "These readings don't match what should be there based on the known objects in these systems. It's like something massive passed through, but isn't recorded anywhere." Jake studied her notes. "Have you told Vexther about this?" "Not yet. I want to finish checking all the data first. I don't want to look foolish on my second day." "Good thinking. The Xanthari don't like being corrected, especially by humans. Make sure you have everything perfect before you present it." Lisa spent the next 3 days working through every star chart in her assignment. The pattern became clearer as she found more examples. Something big had definitely moved through multiple star systems, but there was no record of what it was. On her 4th day, Lisa felt confident enough to request a meeting with Commander Vexther. She had prepared a detailed report with all her findings organized clearly. "Commander," she said when he called her to his office, "I found some irregularities in the gravitational data that I think you should see." Vexther looked skeptical, but gestured for her to continue. Lisa presented her findings carefully, showing how the data pattern suggested something massive had moved through the observed systems. For the first time since she arrived, Vexther looked genuinely interested in what a human had to say. Commander Vexther stared at Lisa's data for a long time. His large blue head tilted to one side as he studied the patterns she had found. The strange markings under his skin moved faster than usual, which Lisa had learned meant he was thinking hard. "This is very unusual," Vexther said finally. "These gravitational readings suggest something with enormous mass moved through these systems. But we have no record of any ships or objects large enough to cause such effects." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. "That's what I thought too, sir. The mass would have to be bigger than anything we've ever seen. Maybe bigger than a moon." Vexther looked at her with new interest. "You completed this analysis in 4 days. Our best researchers usually take months to review this much data." "I noticed the patterns right away," Lisa explained. "Once I saw the first few examples, I knew what to look for in the rest of the data." Vexther touched a control on his desk. "Dr. Kethmer, please come to my office. Bring your gravitational analysis equipment." A few minutes later, Dr. Kethmer floated into the office. The crystal alien's body rang like bells when it moved. "You called for me, Commander?" "Dr. Morgan has found something interesting. I want you to verify her calculations. Kethmer looked at Lisa's data. The crystal alien's body changed colors as it processed the information. These readings are correct. But Commander, if something this massive moved through these systems, why do we have no other record of it? Lisa had been thinking about the same question. Maybe it happened a long time ago, before anyone was monitoring these areas. Or maybe whatever it was didn't want to be detected. Both aliens looked at her. Vexther's mental voice sounded surprised. You think this was done deliberately? That something was trying to hide its presence? Look at the pattern, Lisa said, pointing to her charts. The gravitational disturbances are in a straight line across these systems. That's not natural. Something was traveling from one place to another, and it knew exactly where it was going. Kethmer's body turned a deep blue color. The human is right. This shows intelligence behind the movement. But what could be so large and yet remain hidden? Over. The next week, Lisa worked with Dr. Kethmer to build better sensors. The crystal alien was fascinated by Lisa's way of thinking. While Zenthari used their telepathic abilities to process information, and Kethmer's people used harmonic resonance, Lisa approached problems in a completely different way. You see connections that we miss, Kethmer told Lisa as they worked together. Your mind finds patterns in chaos. It is a very unusual ability. All humans think this way, Lisa said. We have to, since we can't read minds or sing to computers like you can. Perhaps that limitation is actually a strength, Kethmer suggested. Their new sensor array was much more sensitive than the standard equipment. Lisa had suggested combining human pattern recognition with Ethmar harmonic analysis. The result was a system that could detect gravitational echoes from events that happened years ago. Captain Jake Sullivan stopped by their lab every day to check on their progress. The whole station is talking about you two, he told them. Half. The researchers think you're wasting time, but the other half are very curious about what you'll find. What does Commander Vexther think? Lisa asked. He's interested. More interested than I've ever seen him in human work. But he's also worried. If you're right about something massive moving through space undetected, that could be very dangerous. Lisa and Kethmer finished their sensor array after 2 weeks of work. They aimed it at the systems where Lisa had found the strongest gravitational disturbances. The results appeared on their screens within hours. Dear stars, Kethmer whispered, its crystal body flashing red with alarm. Lisa, look at this. The sensor data showed not one massive object, but dozens of them. Each one was enormous, larger than the biggest space stations in the galaxy. They moved together in a perfect formation, traveling between star systems in a way that avoided all major shipping lanes and monitoring posts. It's a fleet, Lisa said quietly. A whole fleet of ships bigger than anything we've ever built. Kethmer's harmonic voice was shaking. Where are they going? Lisa studied the movement patterns on their screen. She traced the path of the massive fleet across multiple star systems. The route was carefully planned to avoid detection, but it had a clear destination. They're heading toward the galactic core, Lisa said, but they're not taking the direct route. They're moving in a spiral pattern, visiting specific types of star systems. What types of systems? Kethmer asked. Lisa pulled up more data and compared it with galactic records. The pattern became clear after several hours of analysis. Systems with intelligent life. Systems where civilizations have reached a certain level of technology. The implications hit them both at the same time. Kethmer's body turned completely black, which Lisa had learned meant extreme fear. You think they are targeting advanced civilizations? I think they're hunting them, Lisa said. They immediately called Commander Vexther. Within an hour, the station's senior research council was assembled in the main conference room. Lisa had never seen so many different alien species in one place. Zenthari, Krelvan, Ethmar, and representatives from a dozen other worlds sat. Around a large circular table, Lisa presented her findings to the council. She showed them the gravitational evidence, the sensor data, and her analysis of the fleet's movement patterns. The room was completely silent as she spoke. The fleet appears to be systematically visiting systems with advanced civilizations, Lisa explained. Based on their current course, they will reach Centauri space within 6 months. The Centauri representatives looked at each other. Lisa could see them communicating telepathically, their head markings pulsing in rhythm. Finally, Admiral Ziegthal spoke for the group. "Human, are you certain of these calculations?" "I've checked them multiple times, sir. Dr. Kethmer has verified all the sensor data. The fleet is real, and it's coming this way." Admiral Ziegthal stood up. "If what you say is true, we face a threat unlike anything in our recorded history. Ships of this size could destroy entire worlds." An elderly Krelvan scientist clicked its mandibles nervously. "But why have we never detected them before? Our monitoring systems cover most of the galaxy." Lisa had been thinking about this question for days. "I think they've been avoiding detection on purpose. They know where our sensors are, and they know how to stay hidden. But they had to reveal themselves to reach their destination." "Which is where?" Admiral Ziegthal asked. Lisa brought up a star map showing the fleet's projected course. Based on their current trajectory, they're heading for the Centauri home system. But they're taking a very specific route, stopping at certain systems along the way. The room erupted in concerned voices from multiple species. Commander Vexther called for silence. "Dr. Morgan," he said, "you have given us much to consider. We must verify your findings and decide how to respond to this threat." As the council meeting ended, Lisa felt a mixture of pride and worry. She had made an important discovery, but she had also uncovered something that could threaten the entire galaxy. Dr. Kethmer approached her as they left the conference room. "Lisa, there is something else we should investigate. If this fleet has been traveling for a long time, there should be records of systems they have already visited." Lisa nodded. "You're right. We need to find out what happened to the civilizations they encountered before." She had a feeling that whatever they found would be even more terrifying than the fleet itself. Lisa and Dr. Kethmer spent the next 3 days searching through the galactic database for information about systems the mysterious fleet had visited. What they found was disturbing. "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to her screen. The Vel-Tar system had a thriving civilization 200 years ago. They had space travel, advanced technology, billions of people. Then suddenly, all communication stopped. Kethmer's crystal body glowed pale yellow with concern. The official records say it was a natural disaster. Solar flares destroyed their technology. But look at the gravitational data from that time. Period. Lisa showed her analysis. The same massive signatures we found in the other systems. The fleet was there right before the Vel-Tar disappeared. They found more examples. The Mordan Empire, which had controlled 12 star systems, vanished. Overnight 300 years ago. The crystal cities of Zephyra went silent 50 years ago. Every time, the official explanation was different, but Lisa found the same gravitational evidence. Whatever this fleet is, it's been destroying civilizations for centuries, Lisa told Captain Jake Sullivan during their daily meeting. And somehow, it's been covering its tracks. Jake looked worried. "Have you told Commander Vexther about this?" "We're preparing a full report. But Jake, there's something else. Something that doesn't make sense." Lisa pulled up a map showing all the systems where civilizations had disappeared. "Look at the pattern. The fleet doesn't destroy every advanced civilization it encounters. Some systems are left completely alone, even though they're right in the path. Maybe those civilizations weren't advanced enough to be threats?" "That's what I thought at first. But look at this. Lisa showed him data from a system called Krenther. This civilization was more advanced than the ones that were destroyed. They had better weapons, stronger defenses. But the fleet passed. Right by them. Jake studied the information. So what's the difference? I don't know yet. But I think the fleet is choosing its targets based on something other than just technology level. Dr. Kethmer floated over to join their conversation. Lisa, I have been analyzing the timing of these disappearances. There is a pattern to when the fleet strikes. What kind of pattern? The fleet observes each civilization for exactly one standard year before deciding whether to destroy them or move on. During that year, the target civilization always experiences increased conflict and problems. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. You think the fleet is testing them? It appears so. The civilizations that survive the test year are left alone. Those that fail are eliminated. What kind of test? Jake asked. Lisa thought about all the data they had collected. I think it's testing how they react to pressure, how they solve problems, how they work together when things get difficult. Over the next week, Lisa developed a theory about what the fleet was looking for. She studied the surviving civilizations and compared them to the ones that had been destroyed. The pattern became clearer with each analysis. The fleet is looking for a specific type of intelligence, she explained to Commander Vexter during their weekly briefing. Not just advanced technology, but a particular way of thinking. What way of thinking? Vexter asked. Strategic thinking. The ability to see patterns and solve complex problems quickly. The civilizations that were destroyed were powerful, but they all thought in predictable ways. The ones that survived were more unpredictable. Vexter's head markings pulsed rapidly. You believe this fleet is searching for strategic intelligence? I think it's afraid of it. Every civilization that showed high levels of strategic thinking was destroyed immediately. But the ones that were more straightforward in their thinking were left alone. Dr. Kethmer added more disturbing news. Lisa, I have traced the fleet's current path more precisely. They are not heading directly to Centauri space. Where are they going? Earth. The fleet is moving toward your home system. The room fell silent. Lisa felt her heart stop for a moment. Are you sure? The gravitational trail leads directly to human space. Based on their current speed, they will reach Earth in 4 months. Lisa's mind raced. But why Earth? Humans are the newest species in the galactic community. We're not as advanced as the Centauri or the other races. That may be exactly why, Baxter said quietly. If your theory is correct, and this fleet targets strategic intelligence, then perhaps they see something in humanity that concerns them. Lisa spent the next few days analyzing human behavior patterns compared to other species. What she found made her increasingly uncomfortable. Jake, I need to ask you something, she said during one of their private conversations. How do humans solve problems compared to other species? What do you mean? When the Centauri face a problem, they use their telepathic abilities to share information and find solutions together. The Krelvin use their hive mind to process data. The Ethmar use harmonic resonance to calculate possibilities. And humans? We guess. We make intuitive leaps. We try things that shouldn't work, but sometimes do. We see patterns in random data and connections where none should exist. Jake nodded slowly. That's true. We're not as logical as the other species. But maybe that's what makes us dangerous. Our unpredictability. Our ability to find solutions that others can't see. The implications were terrifying. If Lisa was right, humanity had caught the attention of something that had been destroying civilizations for centuries. Something that saw human strategic thinking as a threat that needed to be eliminated. Lisa decided to test her theory. She requested access to the station's historical records and began analyzing how different species had responded to various crisis situations throughout galactic history. The results confirmed her worst fears. In every recorded crisis, humans had found solutions that surprised everyone else. Solutions that seemed to come from nowhere, but worked perfectly. Other species followed logical patterns, but humans jumped to conclusions that somehow turned out to be correct. We think differently, Lisa explained to Dr. Kethmer. Every other species in the galaxy thinks in predictable ways. But human minds work chaotically. We see things that aren't there, and sometimes we're right. And you believe this fleet has been watching human development? I think they've been waiting for us to reach a certain level of technological development. Now that we have space travel and are part of the galactic community, we've become a target. Lisa's analysis revealed something even more disturbing. The fleet's path toward Earth was carefully planned to avoid all major shipping routes and monitoring stations. But there was one exception. They were deliberately passing close to New Geneva Station. They know I'm here, Lisa realized. They know I figured out their pattern. Commander Vexter called an emergency meeting of the senior staff. When Lisa presented her findings, the reaction was immediate and frightening. You're saying this fleet is coming here because of human strategic intelligence? Admiral Ziegthal asked. I'm saying they're coming to test us. And based on what happened to other civilizations, I don't think they plan to let us pass. The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, Vexter spoke. Dr. Morgan, your analysis suggests that humanity's presence in the galactic community has triggered a response from an enemy we didn't know existed. Yes, sir, and I think our time to prepare is running out. As the meeting ended, Lisa noticed how the alien representatives looked at her. For the first time since arriving at the station, she saw something new in their eyes. It wasn't respect or admiration, it was fear. They were afraid of what human intelligence might mean for all of them. Lisa worked day and night for the next 2 weeks, trying to find a way to stop the approaching fleet. Every calculation she ran showed the same result. The fleet was too large, too advanced, and too well prepared. No known weapon could damage ships that massive, but Lisa's mind worked differently than the alien scientists. While they focused on building bigger weapons or stronger shields, she was looking for something else entirely. What if we're thinking about this wrong? Lisa asked Dr. Kethmer during one of their research sessions. Everyone is trying to figure out how to fight them. But what if we don't need to fight? Kethmer's crystal body turned a confused purple color. I do not understand. If we cannot fight them, how do we survive? By figuring out what they really want. Lisa had been studying the fleet's behavior patterns for weeks. Something bothered her about their approach to Earth. They were taking too long, moving too carefully. If they just wanted to destroy humanity, they could have done it already. Jake, I need to talk to you, Lisa said when Captain Sullivan stopped by her lab. I think I know why the fleet is really coming to Earth. To destroy us, right? Maybe. But I don't think destruction is their primary goal. Lisa showed him her latest analysis. Look at this. Every civilization they destroyed was given exactly 1 year to respond to a crisis. But they've been watching Earth for much longer. How much longer? Based on the gravitational data, they've been observing human space for over 5 years. Since before we made first contact with the galactic community. Jake stared at her data. What does that mean? I think we're not just another target. I think we're the target, the one they've been waiting for. Lisa's theory was terrifying in its implications. The fleet hadn't been randomly destroying civilizations. They had been preparing for humanity. Every test, every elimination, every careful observation had been leading to this moment. They've been studying how different types of intelligence respond to pressure. Lisa explained to the emergency council meeting that Commander Vexter had called. But with humans, they're not just testing us. They're learning from us. Learning what? Admiral Ziegthal demanded. How we think, how we solve problems, how we see patterns that others miss. Dr. Kethmer's voice was barely a whisper. You believe. They want to understand human strategic intelligence. I believe they want to steal it. The room erupted in shocked voices from multiple species. Commander Vexter called for silence with his telepathic abilities. Dr. Morgan, explain your reasoning. Lisa brought up her analysis of the fleet's technology. Look at these ships. They're not just big, they're adaptive. Each one is slightly different from the others, as if they've been modified based on what they learned from previous encounters. You think they incorporate the intelligence of the species they destroy? Vexter asked. I think they harvest it. The fleet isn't just a military force. It's a collection system. They've been gathering different types of intelligence from across the galaxy, and now they want the human type. The implications were clear to everyone in the room. If the fleet succeeded in capturing human strategic intelligence, they would become unstoppable. They would have the combined knowledge and thinking patterns of dozens of advanced civilizations. But there's something else, Lisa continued. Something I discovered in the historical records. She showed them data from the oldest archives on the station, records that went back thousands of years. The fleet has done this before, multiple times throughout galactic history. Each time, they disappear for centuries after collecting what they want. Then they return when new types of intelligence evolve. Where do they go? Admiral Ziegthal asked. I don't know. But I think I know why they keep coming back. Lisa's final analysis was the most terrifying of all. The fleet wasn't from there. Galaxy. The gravitational signatures suggested technology that operated on principles no known civilization had discovered. They were visitors from somewhere else, collecting intelligence like other species might collect specimens. They're preparing for something, Lisa said. Some kind of conflict or challenge that requires every possible type of strategic thinking. And they see human intelligence as the final piece they need. The council meeting ended with plans to evacuate the station and warn Earth about the approaching threat. But Lisa wasn't finished with her research. There has to be something we can do, she told Jake as they worked through the night. Some way to use our intelligence against them. What are you thinking? They expect us to respond like other species have, to either fight desperately or surrender quietly. But what if we do something completely unexpected? Lisa's plan was so unusual that it took her 3 days to convince anyone to listen. When she finally presented it to Commander Vexter, his reaction was immediate and strong. Absolutely not. It's too dangerous and unpredictable. That's exactly why it might work. They've studied every other type of response, but they can't predict true human chaos. Lisa's plan was simple in concept, but terrifying in execution. Instead of trying to fight or hide from the fleet, she wanted to do something no other civilization had ever attempted. She wanted to make first contact. You want to talk to them? Dr. Kethmer asked in amazement. I want to confuse them. Every other species they encountered either attacked immediately or tried to negotiate from a position of fear. But what if we approach them with curiosity instead of terror? The alien scientists thought Lisa had lost her mind. Her plan violated every rule of military strategy and diplomatic protocol. But Captain Sullivan understood what she was trying to do. You want to be so unpredictable that they can't process our response, he said. Exactly. Their whole system is based on studying and categorizing different types of intelligence. But what if we show them something that can't be categorized? Lisa's plan required the cooperation of every species on the station. Instead of preparing weapons or defenses, they would prepare questions. Hundreds of questions about the fleet's origins, purpose, and methods. They would approach the most dangerous force in galactic history like curious scientists instead of terrified victims. It's insane, Admiral Ziegthal said. "It's human," Commander Vexler replied, and for the first time his mental voice carried a note of genuine fear. As the fleet approached the station, Lisa made her final preparations. She had convinced the Council to try her plan, but she could see the terror in every alien face around her. They were trusting human strategic thinking to save them all. "Lisa," Dr. Kethmer said quietly, "what if you're wrong? What if they simply destroy us for being unpredictable?" Lisa looked out at the approaching ships, each one larger than entire cities. "Then at least we'll go down doing something that's never been tried before." But even as she spoke, Lisa saw something in the approaching fleet that made her realize her plan might have worked too well. The ships were slowing down, changing formation, responding to their unusual approach in ways that suggested genuine confusion. For the first time in their long history of conquering civilizations, the fleet had encountered something they couldn't understand or predict. They had finally met intelligence that truly terrified them. Human intelligence.